Welcome back to Extra Life 2024, everybody. I am here with Kitten,
Hello.
and this is a pre-recorded segment, and I'll have like a reminder up somewhere around every 10 minutes, just to let everyone know that this is not a live portion of the event. We are pre-recording this, 3 days before, I think. So. Just to let everyone know in the chat of the premiere, if we're not responding to you, it's not out of malice, okay? We're not here live right now. So as a part of Extra Life, we are raising funds for the Cornwall Health Children's Hospital in Royal Oak, Michigan, and as a reminder of what we're looking to do here, and where exactly the money goes, Cornwall Health is a part of the Children's Miracle Network hospital system, of which Extra Life is a program. And every hour, CMN hospitals treat 39 kids for diabetes, 39 babies in neonatal intensive care units, 92 kids for cancer, 97 kids for surgery, and 675 kids with trauma. That's just every hour, and over time that adds up. And what your money is doing is helping with equipment, research, extracurriculars so that the kids aren't bored, medicine, so on and so on. And all of this is very important. Every dollar counts. Please do consider donating if you can afford to, and if you want to, and all that stuff. It goes a long way to helping kids who are very, very, very much in need and deserve the best possible care that they can receive. What Glitch is doing here today for her segment of Extra Life is designing a Sonic OC, and we tried to get some fan suggestions and ended up with only one due to the absolutely chaotic nature of how this one was scheduled. So we have a few wheels here, and we're just gonna go with what the wheels tell us to do and everything, and we are going to be putting this OC up as an adoptable, as I explained earlier in the event. For those of you that donate $20 and above, you'll have a chance to win the rights to this character. So yeah. So we got a few wheels and everything all set up as far as what the gender of the character is, the species, what their role is, are they a hero, are they a villain, are they somewhere in between, and their personality as well. So yeah. Now Glitch, just to start things off in terms of actual conversation or whatever, we've seen you in bits and pieces on the channel here before in the 902RL highlight reels, and especially the one for the 902RL event that you hosted earlier this year. But this is your first guest spot on the channel, so could you maybe explain to the audience who you are, what you do, and all that sort of deal?
Sure. My name is Kitten. Good to meet you. I'm also known as GK. I am a variety VTuber. Most of the time I am in a lot of creative endeavors, whether it be writing, illustration, voice acting, streaming, and other such things. I'm pretty much all over the place, running a lot of events. But other than that, it is mostly just doing the streaming side of things. That would pretty much be the gist summary-wise of kind of the content that I do.
And it's very good content.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. So is this just a bit of practice right now?
It's just a wireframe. Just to set where the body is supposed to sit.
Gotcha. So I take it then we're ready for the first wheel.
Yes, I just gotta make sure that there are no sound effects for any of the spins, because they're still very much on event. They're still very much on event wheel sounds. So this should hopefully be okay. There we go. Cool. It landed on male, so male is going to be the gender of the character that we're doing here.
Okie dokie.
Not too much of a change there, mostly because for Sonic OCs, their body is mostly a bean shape anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Thankfully, that part. Because the body shape is still very much going to be the same anyway. But yeah, so that should settle that. And then I believe we have other choices to go through here. Let's see. Got a couple of different species here.
Yeah.
Let's see what we have that it lands on. Okay, very simple. Dog. So we have that. And then let's see. What role are they playing? Alright, looks like we're getting a civilian. So a dog civilian, male. And then let's figure out personality. Okay, let's see what it lands on. And it looks like an introvert. So, shy civilian dog. Okay,
alrighty.
We can work with that. Let's figure out what to do here. It's actually fairly straightforward. That shouldn't be too difficult. So we've got our basis.
A very generous wheel.
Yeah.
I'm sure your viewers saw the options, but like it could have landed on crocodile, you know.
It could have been a various amounts of different species. There was bear, there was wolf, there was chameleon, ant, rabbit.
Yeah.
There was a bunch of different kinds.
So
we definitely got the most simple, which is nothing wrong with that. So let's see what we can do here with that.
And like Sonic character design or anything while you're doing this, and go right ahead, because I think that sort of thing is very interesting. From an outsider's perspective.
Going into the design, you mean?
And stuff. Yeah.
Oh. So basic premise here is that since it is a male, and Mobians have a very circular everything type shape with all of their body components, there isn't too much that is really going to differentiate. It's mostly the facial structure as well as the body structure that'll differentiate between the female and male. And of course the female like wears clothes and stuff like that. However, there are lots of different male characters that are Mobian that wear clothing in some way, so even that doesn't truly differentiate. But it does all have to do with the face and the way that the body chest-wise is composed. So again, Mobians are fairly round. Most of their body is literally all circles. Like their eyes are circles, their nose is circles, their muzzle is pretty much a circle, ears are circle, body is literally a giant circle. As for most of their ball joints, And pretty much most of their hands can be derived from just a giant circle. Same thing with their feet. And you just round it out. So pretty much you want to line up your basic shapes and try and sit where the head is sitting is pretty much where the direction of the body is going to go. So pretty much we just got to figure out what the face is actually going to look like. So since it's dog, there isn't just dog. There are multiple different breeds of dog, so that's where a lot of the choices would come in. You know, there's the floppy-eared dogs, the pointy-eared dogs, the bobtailed dogs, the, you know, long-tailed dogs, long coat, short coat, no coat, short muzzle, long muzzle, pointer, you know, stuff like that, pug muzzle, tiny, teacup, runt, you know, full breed, mutt, there's a bunch. So because there's such a high spectrum of different choices depending on the animal that you get, is what helps with all of the customization. I think that's what causes some Mobian characters to be a little harder to just make, because dog is not just dog. Dog is various different types. So we're gonna figure out
dog
first.
Is a spectrum.
It is, just like cat, just like bunny, just like anything. Even if we got crocodile, there would be like 17 different variants we would still have to go through, for, you know, just characterization alone.
Yeah.
So.
And I think that's where some of the other options on these wheels can kind of help us as well, because we had an introvert who's like a civilian, you know, not really like the heroic or villainous, you know, he's there, you know, not like in the forefront so much. So like that sort of thing can help, I think.
Yeah. The problem with that is that, I'm not gonna lie, majority of dog breeds are extroverted. That is just how they are built. There are some quote-unquote introverted person particular dogs. That is mostly based on personality and breed. There are some dogs that just prefer only one human in the home and nobody else. Some are extremely independent and barely need any interaction whatsoever. So I think a really good way, instead of an introvert that is solitary, we want an introvert that is reliant on their person. So I think the best thing that we can do to make this a very simple character and narrow down the breed, I think instead we're going to do a Bichon Frise. Very simple, stays with the circular component of Mobian, and it's pretty much just going to be mostly circles. Gives us a lot of space to work with, and it in itself is very cutesy. Even for a male build, you'll be able to put a lot of that shy demeanor in the way that its body language is conveyed. So I think we're gonna probably try and go with that and see if we can make that work. So let's see here. If we want to do that, then we are going to change up the pose, which is easy. This is more of an extrovert pose anyway.
Yeah.
But thankfully real simple to do. I already have one in mind. We may have lost him, chat.
I don't know. Did we lose each other just then?
Yeah, you kind of became robotic and disappeared for a little while.
Oh, oops. I asked you what the name of that breed was, because I don't think I've ever heard of it.
Bichon Frise.
see if I can look that up.
Or a Bichon Frise. It's a small toy dog. It's actually pretty common. Yes. I apologize, dog shelter knowledge coming full swing. I forget to explain myself whenever I talk about dog breeds. Ooh, that's not good. He disappeared, chat. We shall continue without him for right now. But anyway, so did you guys know for Bichon Frise, they are a small toy dog of the Bichon type. They are a Franco-Belgian breed, actually. And they were recognized by the Société Centrale Canine in like 1933. And they've been around for a long time. They are incredible house dogs, by the way. They're so cheerful and intelligent, but they can be very shy and reserved most of the time. They get on really well with like children, other dogs, stuff like that. Very curious too. They're good watchdogs, but they're not super good at it. They are what you would probably consider a yappy dog, but aside from that, they're absolutely adorable, very affectionate. There are also probably a few breeds that are considered hypoallergenic, for real. And they last about 12 to 15 years, so to speak. Probably get that very exaggerated. I'm gonna make these as poofy as possible and make them into heart shapes.
That's a nice touch.
Welcome back.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. This whole thing is just cursed. Apparently, my internet decided to die for a little while.
That's all right. It happens.
But I see it's coming together, and I learned a little bit about this breed.
Just trying to lay it out as best as possible.
So Glitch, while this is going on, and I can see this is coming together very well. Hopefully speaking, I will have played this in the first segment. Fingers crossed.
Right.
For the event. And everything. But Sonic X Shadow Generations recently came out, and whatnot. What are your thoughts on that as we go along here?
You haven't played it yet, technically, so I'm not going to spoil it, but I will say that it is extremely well done. I love a lot of the directions that they took, especially in course of gameplay. I feel like it flows extremely well. All of the extra abilities are really fun to use. Some of them have a bit of a learning curve, so you're not going to immediately get it as soon as you try it. But all of the levels are super, well condensed. They flow super well. They're a lot of fun. I'd say this is probably the first time in a long time that I've had a lot of fun playing a Sonic game. From beginning to end without too much issue. A lot of the story beats that happen throughout are really nice. Cutscenes are great, really well rendered. The models look great. But yeah, the music is also super good. But other than that, yeah, it was just a really good time. I enjoyed it.
Gotcha. Hopefully the me 3 days from now likes the generation side, and all the changes that they made in there. Twitter,
there isn't that much. Sonic Gen is pretty much untouched. It's just the cutscenes, but everything else is pretty much the same. It's literally the same game. It's the shadow portion that's definitely new.
Yeah, for sure. And I did play like a little bit prior to this event just to get some footage for a video that came out. We'll say yesterday, as of the time that people are actually watching this, but haven't really experienced it yet. So again, hopefully that's all covered in part 1.
Yeah.
It really is too bad though. That like a lot of the stuff that has been changed gets spoiled by the community. Like, you know, it's nice that it's nice to see the excitement, but like I guess just as another example, like every time one of the new comics comes out, you've basically read the entire book on Twitter before you get the chance to actually see it for yourself.
Yeah, it's probably why I haven't read them in a really long time, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, it's hard not to have that happen, especially because I had friends that were playing this game beginning of October. You know, before most people got it. Most of them were playing it like October 5th. So
it got out really early.
Yeah, so I mean, I had it because of pre-order, so I had it early as well. You know, a lot of people either waited till the day it dropped or got it super early. I know I was one of few of a good majority actually that got it like Monday. So, you know, the Friday when everybody who didn't pre-order got it and it dropped, I'd already played it the day before. Yeah. And then finished it the day it dropped. So yeah, no, it is rough to not be spoiled by it, but I will say, the trailer itself kind of shows you everything that's going to be in it. So you're not really missing on much or getting spoiled by anything because the trailer kind of already does that for you. I mean, it tells you pretty much the majority of things that happen, at least the major beats. Everything else that kind of happens in between, I don't see a lot of people pointing out. But yeah, all the big stuff mostly kind of gets pointed out. But yeah, other than that, it was a good time. I recommend it. I think, just the whole fact that we got this not too long after, you know, Frontiers and everything. I think it worked out. It definitely showed that there was a lot of growth in what they made.
Yeah, for sure. They it looks interesting. I haven't played the shadow portion of it yet, and probably won't for a little while. But I know from like the stream that my friend did on the channel and whatnot, it looks like you know, they're really getting the chance to do some interesting things, and it's great that Frontiers was such a success that allows them to you know, do these sorts of things. Yeah.
So I'm honestly glad. I think it definitely shows that when they've got, like, you know, faith in the company, a good structure, a budget, and time, that they can make something very good. So, but yeah, I think it's a great experience. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. If you don't, it's totally fine. But I think it's a good time.
Cheer, buddy. You weren't kidding about those round details.
Yeah. They pretty important for spacing out the head, but yeah. Most of this always look like this.
So, in relation to your general thoughts on Sonic, like, how did you become a fan?
I grew up with it. I did. I grew up with it. Pretty much most people in my family play video games, so I grew up with video games. And Sonic was one of the major franchises that I grew up with. One of the first consoles I had was a Dreamcast that was my mother's. She gave that to me, but I had like the N64 not too long after, and my mom had all of the old systems, so I eventually played those as well. But one of the first games that I played on the Dreamcast was Sonic Adventure. And no, I didn't know at the time like how to really play, but I really enjoyed the world and the characters. And as I got older, it influenced me to learn to draw, to learn to write, voice acting, which I didn't even know that's what I was doing when I was younger until I got a little older and realized that's what it was. And yeah, no, I just, you know, like I said, I grew alongside the franchise and have seen pretty much almost all of the eras of like voice actors for most of the characters, and seen it through most of their changes and their failures and their successions, and it's it's really interesting to look at a video game series and be like, it grew up with me in a way. So it's like really crazy to see where it's at now. It's in the best place it's ever been in a really long time. But yeah, no, I feel like I've always been a fan of the series.
Gotcha. You know, it's not often that you hear someone saying that the Dreamcast was their first console.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool, actually.
I loved that Dreamcast. My mom took really good care of it. And pretty much had just played it a lot. A lot of the games I'm like aware of now was because of her.
Goodness. Was it one of those that the laser eventually just stopped working?
So the audio wires just kind of stopped outputting audio. The component cables. But it lasted a very long time. And plus I had like 2 or 3 of them, to be honest. There's the old one that didn't work, the one that my mom gave me, and the one that a friend gave me as a gift. But you know, it was just fun to play that console. I had a few games for it. My mom really liked playing House of the Dead.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it was fun, and you know, growing up with video games very much a part of my life and my family's life was interesting as well, because I've been told by many people that is not normal in most families. So I grew up in a very special circumstance.
Definitely see that. It's still like a bit of a rare thing, because video games are still like a relatively new medium, you know. Mm-hmm. That like the whole family getting behind them and everything. As far as the voice acting is concerned, and can definitely parlay this into like other creative aspects, because I definitely feel you on the whole like Sonic inspiring other creative aspects, you know, and whatnot. I just love the way that you describe the voice acting though, because like that's very similar to to how I got into it. Um, so now like my curiosity's kind of piqued. Was it kind of like would you just like randomly do say impressions of voices when you were a kid, and then like have like silly ones of your own, of course, and then just like say realize one day, oh wait, people do this for a living, you know, that sort of thing?
I found it out more by dubbing. So what me and my siblings used to do is we actually used to mute the TV and we would talk over it all the time, just for fun. We'd do various different voices, either the voices that were in the actual show or our own. Most of the time it was our own. And I didn't know what that was actually a thing. It was just something very silly, and we used to record it because the camcorder, if you plugged in the audio component and stuff like that and recorded, you would record your voice and audio, not the TV's audio. And we did that for video games too. We would do, dub cutscenes and stuff for fun. I remember we did Shadow the Hedgehog, the whole thing. Me and my siblings just sat down around the TV and we all took turns playing a character. We did it for SA2 a couple of times. We did it for Jak and Daxter 3. Like, we did it for a bunch of different games. There was probably some stuff for 06 and Heroes as well. But that's more how I got into it. And then realized, oh, this is a thing that people do. And it's an actual job. The voices that we hear already coming out of the characters. And so I started to practice a lot more. Actually getting good at the voices that already exist and then forming my own. But I think a lot of the time I had already was on the path of making my own voices than copying.
That's really cool though. You and your siblings getting together and doing that sort of thing.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
So I'm trying to articulate this in terms of like your streaming efforts. Would you say that that's also just kind of like inspired by your love for the franchise, or maybe just video games as a whole? Oh, I mean, of course, but like, how should I say? Like maybe splintered off from your other things. Like, were you doing other things first? I guess is like kind of the point I'm trying to get at. And then came on to streaming later, or was it a bit different?
I worked on various different projects back in the day before I did streaming. I did stream mostly for art-related projects. So the only streaming I did was for commissions. But I did a lot of small voice acting projects for radio shows or podcasts or random dubs here and there. There was other stuff like working on a cartoon for 3 years, or working at a game studio for a little while, and other various random different projects. I'd say if I wasn't super interested already in video games and like world building and all of that stuff, I probably wouldn't be doing half or even any of the stuff that I do now, in terms of, content streaming projects and, events. But yeah, I'd say it had an influence, and even the stuff beforehand, streaming, I was kind of already, I was already slowly doing a lot of things in the entertainment industry. And eventually it kind of culminated into this.
Gotcha. And I heavily apologize for the extremely awkward way that I asked that question.
That's all good.
Like the other stuff helped before you got into streaming.
It did. Streaming is genuinely just doing everything that I had already done, just on a stage constantly.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it, actually. What's your favorite Sonic game?
I'm not gonna lie, Shadow Gen's up there now, but Unleashed was mine for a while. Still kind of is.
Yeah.
Unleashed or Rush.
Yeah, I could gush about Unleashed for a good while. That one I think is still like my favorite 3D game in the franchise. Probably just like my overall favorite. Come to think of it, there are games that are better, just as like objectively as video games, but Unleashed just had everything going for it, you know. It was like pretty good gameplay for the most part. I think it still has the best story of any Sonic game that's been released.
I think so too, honestly.
It is a particular like theming and feel that I just don't think have been matched. That one's just a masterpiece.
I feel like Unleashed really solidified that speed formula that we'd all been looking for a while.
Yeah. I definitely feel you on that, because like it's kind of hard to think about now, since we've had so many games that have kind of like matched it in terms of that sort of thing. But like when Unleashed first came out, comparably speaking, like no other Sonic game looked as fast. You know, Sonic was just destroying, you know, the speed barrier in Unleashed compared to like say how he would run in SA2 or Heroes or like the classic games or whatever. So it was really interesting to see from that perspective. There was definitely a wow factor to it.
I think people were too hard on the Werehog stages, though I understand why. They're not the best, but I think they added a really nice change of pace with everything else going on.
Yeah, you know, I was pleasantly surprised by some of them when I finally got around to being able to play the game for myself. Like the platforming, I think, is like just genuinely well implemented. It's just the combat that makes it clunky. So like when you get levels like say Arid Sands is definitely like the worst of it, where it's like almost all combat and very little platforming, then it becomes a slog. But like if you get a level like Rooftop Run, where most of it's platforming, then I think you have a winner.
Yeah, no, I genuinely feel like a lot of the levels that were in Unleashed hit really good sweet spots in terms of speed, platforming, balance, and just a good variety within the stage itself, including like enemy placement and stuff. I just feel like they did really well, and I feel like ignoring that, not that I'm ignoring its flaws, I'm very aware the flaws, you know, exist, but I feel like ignoring what it did accomplish is criminal.
Yeah, definitely. Like it's really impressive. Like when you look at like say the daytime stages, like, you know, normal Sonic. It's hard to do something where like your average level's like 4 minutes in length, and like it, you know, it's still just got all that stuff going for it. Like you said, variety and enemy placements and I had the word in my head. Set pieces, you know, that make the levels memorable and stuff. You just hit that good balance, like you said.
I just think it's funny to run on all fours as a werehog.
Oh yeah.
How could you not love that, you know? How could you not love that?
That is a fun animation.
Yeah. He is dog. He is dog now.
He is dog.
He is dog now.
I guess in terms of like voice acting, you know, since we talked about Unleashed, like the voice acting in Unleashed, man, it really is too bad that the 4Kids actors were let go when they were, because I feel like they were really hitting their stride around the time that that things started to change.
I also agree. I feel like I feel like they would have had so much fun, first of all. And I think it's a shame they didn't get to do it.
Yeah.
Genuinely.
Because you bring up a good point. Cause like those first few games after the cast switch to like what we currently have and whatnot were very Saturday morning cartoon inspired.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a lot of that kind of dialogue going on in like Sonic X, like when they first started out. So it would have been like kind of sort of used to it in a way.
I just feel like there's a missed opportunity, and I feel like it really would have shown like the growth of the actors.
For sure, for sure. Do you have any particular thoughts about like any of the other games? Strong thoughts, I guess, would be a better term to use for that.
Nothing in the world can make me like Secret Rings extensively. I just can't bring myself to it. It's not that it's a bad game, I just was bored with it. Although it could have been better.
Yeah, I see potential in like Secret Rings, like watching people play
Black
through the level.
Knight.
Yeah, watching a playthrough of Secret Rings and Black Knight is kind of like night and day, because Black Knight actually looks like something I really want to play, and I never would have thought that before watching a playthrough of it. But like I can kind of see that there in Secret Rings with like some of the like the way that they present things, camera angles and whatnot, and stuff. Like I've watched like some level playthroughs and just thought this should have been like an Endless Runner arcade game or something.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not an Endless Runner, but like it feels very arcadey, which is like pretty appropriate for Sega.
Fair.
And like I think it probably would have worked better in that format, along with some gameplay changes. Definitely. But can certainly like see potential in it, but yeah, it did just kind of not do it for most people, which again just makes Black Knight like all the more impressive.
That's pretty much how I felt. I was like, Black Knight felt really solid. I loved it. I had a good time with it. It has its hiccups here and there, but I feel like it just worked extremely well. And I feel like, man, I can't wait till the next storybook one, because they really are hitting something good here, and they didn't do it. We never got our Journey to the West. God damn it.
That answers my next question. I would have asked you like what you would have wanted for another one.
Journey to the West would have been so good. It's right there. It's right there.
And you can't deny that Sonic took some inspiration, much like plenty of other pieces of media.
It just would have been so good. It's such a shame.
But in terms of say games in the franchise that like really mean something to you, it seems like Unleashed hit a particular note. Is there any others that kind of like give you those warm fuzzy vibes, for lack of a better term?
Sonic Rush and any other. Let's see, what other game? I have a soft spot for SA1. SA2 is really good too. I'm not gonna sit here and say that it was perfect or anything. But I enjoyed it a lot. But Generations, of course, like OG Generations was fun. I did really enjoy Sonic Colors was actually pretty fun. Like the OG one. It was fun. Mm-hmm. It's a very short romp. It's very inoffensive. Yeah. And I enjoyed it for that because it really is just a fun game. You play, you're done. That's pretty much it. There's nothing really extra. Some of the mechanics are and some of the stages are literally just like a puzzle stage. But yeah, no, I'd say those. I had a really fun time with Frontiers also. There are some moments where genuinely I was just like, why? But I had a good time with it nonetheless. There's a few games I just don't want to play. They do not interest me in the slightest. Forces is one. Origins is one. Superstars. I did not like Superstars. I did try really hard to like it though.
Superstars made me like so sad in a way because like it's a criticism I see of it often, but it's like I thought the levels were pretty alright, you know, maybe not the best ones ever, but like you know the levels in and of themselves I thought were like fairly solid, but then the boss fights, aside from like 3 of them, just sucked.
Yeah, it's not a fun game. I don't like it. It's missing. I can't even tell you what exactly it's missing, but whatever it is, God, it's missing.
It's like something's there, but also something's missing.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like, how do I explain? Multiplayer in Superstars is really disappointing because it is so broken. Like so broken. It just doesn't work. It breaks so much and it's just not fun. It feels like you're constantly hindered by the game itself, and the special moves are not necessary. Only maybe 1 or 2 of them really are necessary. I don't know. I don't even remember any music from the game. It just wasn't memorable to me in any way. And I played like, you know, Mario like Wonder afterwards, and I was just like, man, this is really what it could have been. And it was so much fun, and that makes me really sad because I was like, Superstars looks like it's gonna be, it's 4-player, it's gonna be great and stuff like that. And I was very tentative. I didn't have all of my faith in it, but I was very tentative, and it's real sad to see it end up like that.
Yeah. Definitely. So you brought up Mario Wonder. So are you a Mario fan necessarily, or just more like a casual enjoyer?
I'd say casual enjoyer. I'd say that even for Sonic though, because like I play Sonic games. I've played many, but I'm very picky. So I haven't played every single Sonic game under the sun. There's probably a few I haven't even heard of that might be older, you know? But there's even some fan games I still haven't played yet. So I'd say I'm definitely a huge fan. I don't know if maybe avid would be the correct word. But for Mario, I missed out on many Mario games. I feel like I was very picky for Mario games. I mostly liked Mario Party and like Kart, and there was some Mario games I played, but I don't know, it didn't fully appeal to me. Like Odyssey was fun, and some of the older Mario games are fine. I loved Luigi's Mansion, and I liked 2 and 3. I don't know, I just never was super excited for their games. Wonder, I think, was like the first time in a long time that I really, really enjoyed a Mario game that I like would play repeatedly. But other than that, yeah, I'd say I'm a casual fan for sure.
Gotcha. And even for Sonic, like, you know, I'd say like it really just depends on how much you enjoy the material that you have taken in. You know, you don't have to have, like, say, played all of the games, you know, to be a real fan. TM. But
Right.
you know, again, just really depends, like, how much you like what you have seen and, you know, just taken in and stuff. I'm sure there was a grander point that I was gonna try to make, but I'm just forgetting everything.
It's understandable. It's all good.
In some cases, there's also just a factor of, like, you know, outside stuff or whatever, like maybe miss out on things because of like life circumstances or whatever. Like Mario, for instance. Mario is like the first video game franchise that I became a fan of for the video games in and of themselves. But I'm also just, like, terribly behind on video games. You know, the most recent video game console that I own is a Wii. You know.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, and you know, it's not for lack of trying or anything, but you know, so like,
yeah.
When I was a kid, even though we had a GameCube in, like, the contemporary era, like, I didn't play Mario Sunshine for a while. I didn't play Mario 64 for a while. I would love to eventually play Odyssey, but it just hasn't been in the cards, you know. So, like, sometimes you really love something, but you just end up missing out, which is always the worst, you know.
Yeah. No, I get it. Sometimes it's just not in the cards to play it, like, right then and there.
Yeah. I think Odyssey is definitely, like, my number one on that.
I agree with that.
When that game was coming out and I saw the trailers and stuff, I was thinking, like, this has greatest game of all time potential, legit. So it was really saddening to see, you know, people having so much fun with it, and in terms of, like, seeing other people play it, like, all the fun shit that you know, people can like chain their moves and stuff, and you just kind of, like, are on the outside looking in, being like, I'd like to try and do some of those things, you know.
Yeah.
What would one of those be for you, if you can think of one off the top of your head?
Game of all time?
Just, like, something that you maybe have, like, missed out on and didn't get to play and experience for a while, or still haven't, in that sort of way.
I didn't get to experience Odyssey when it came out. Like, it was a long time after. I wish I did experience it when it came out. Let's see. So many games from the past I never got to play. Never played any of the Mario sports games. There's a bunch of Mario parties I did miss out on. There were a lot of old Sega titles I just didn't get to play because they were not available to me. There's various, but I'm currently trying to catch up on all the games that I missed out on, and experience them. Like, Billy Hatcher was one of them, and I got to experience that. That was a lot of fun. Heck, it had been so long since I played, like, Monkey Ball. I think I played it once or twice when I was a kid because I didn't own it. So I got to experience that, like, fully, not just, like, hit or miss when I, like, go to a cousin's house or something. So it was really fun. So yeah, there's a ton, but I'm working on making sure that I can at least experience them now.
So you mentioned other Sega games, and of course you hosted earlier this year with the 902RL is one small attraction, I guess you could say. You had your own Sega themed event and whatnot. Are there any other Sega franchises that you would say that you're like a big fan of?
Jet Set Radio.
Hell yes.
Sega Bass Fishing, Crazy Taxi. Let's see. I definitely enjoyed some of the Sega adjacent titles like Power Stone. Definitely Billy Hatcher was definitely fun, although there's a lot of words that I'd like to share with it. There's Choo Choo Rocket is really cute, very fun. Fuyo Fuyo. Amongst Samba de Amigo is also another one. That's my son. Monkey Ball. And, man, a bunch of other ones. Jeez, I'm like trying to name them all and they're like tumbling all out at once. But like genuinely thanks to the festival, I get to experience the ones I hadn't gotten to play, and then re-experience the ones that I like played a long time ago that I hadn't touched in a while. And I think it's cool that there's so many new Sega and Sega adjacent games that I can try now. Like, the Yakuza series and stuff like that. So, I think I haven't gotten to experience like Shenmue yet, but I'd love to, just to kind of give it a shot. And gosh, I have tried Panzer Dragoon, never again. But like all of the Sega arcade games like Afterburner, and Shinobi and stuff were a lot of fun to try out as well. I ended up falling in love with Afterburner too, though. That is like my game. I will happily play that game forever. And then of course like, Fantasyland with like Opa Opa. And I'm trying to remember the other one that we had played. Shoot, can't remember what it was called. But literally the song plays and transformed a bunch of other games. But yeah, aside from that, I'd say like all of those, such a fun time like going through the history of the franchises and stuff like that. It's so nice to get to experience them now, where I feel like I would have a lot more appreciation for them now than I would have as a kid. Like I probably would have liked them as a kid, but I don't think I would have understood why. Just, I like this. That's about it. So.
Man, I think Jet Set Radio was like the first one that I really became a fan of. That was like one of those ones when you're a kid and you get like a new console that you get a new game and you have like absolutely zero expectations, but end up like being wowed by it. So like my siblings and I just randomly one day got an original Xbox and Jet Set Radio at the time. Jet Set Radio Future, I should say, along with the Sega GT 2002 was like the pack-in game. And there were also like trailers for other games and stuff on the disc or whatnot, but Jet Set Radio just like really popped out with its like creative art style and the gameplay and whatnot and everything. It was definitely different, but like in a good way. It really wowed me back then. And it's a crying shame that Future still hasn't been officially re-released on anything, but at least after all these years we're getting a new one.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
You also mentioned bass fishing.
Yes.
Which I remember my brother Coco made like a funny little meme about. But I wanted to ask, have you seen Sega Marine Fishing at all?
Yes, we had a whole stream about that. Actually, we played that for a few hours. I was harassed by barracuda quite often, but we had an amazing time.
Yeah, man. Like, I saw a review of that one, and like I had seen Sega Bass Fishing before, and like it's a fishing game. And then like I saw this review of Marine Fishing, and I was like, this is wild, wacky fun. This is
so
like,
good. It's so good.
it's way more extra
Genuinely
than bad
so
fishing.
Good. Yeah. I had such an amazing
loved
time with it.
Definitely one I would love to try out. Our guy's coming together pretty well here.
Yeah, he's getting there. He's a little scruffy, but it's because he's getting the rough sketch laid out.
We've been here for about an hour now, so just to remind everyone of what we're doing, Glitch is creating a Sonic OC that we're going to be putting up for adoption to those who donate $20 and above. And we're here at Extra Life Game Day 2024. This here is a charity marathon that we're doing in support of Corewell Health Children's Hospital in Royal Oak, Michigan. It's a hospital that's in the Children's Miracle Network system, which runs the Extra Life program. Just raising money to help kids through the power of gaming. CMN hospitals every day treat 235 kids for diabetes, 295 babies in neonatal intensive care units, 2,128 kids for cancer, 2,329 kids for surgeries, and 16,200 kids with trauma. That is every single day. Those numbers add up, and these hospitals really need the money to, provide R&D, equipment, training, medicine, activities and extracurriculars, and just stuff for the kids so that they're not bored sitting all day in the hospital, or scared too, because it can be a scary experience. And whatnot. So it goes toward helping kids get the best possible treatment that they can receive and deserve for these long hospital stays, whether it be sickness, injury, disease, mental health, you name it, they're being treated for it, and every dollar helps. So if you can afford to donate, and if you'd like to donate, then please do consider it. The link is in the pinned message and chat, as well as in the top of the description. God, we were on Sega franchises. Any others that like stand out to you, or that you would like consider yourself a fan of, or is it just like those ones that that you've appreciated trying through like the festival and various other places?
I'd say I'd say those currently.
Gotcha. I do apologize for a lack of commentary here, but it's just so interesting to see this stuff come together.
Oh, it's okay. I completely understand. Anytime I do art streams, a lot of the time we're fairly quiet. We're just vibing, mostly, either to music or just kind of chilling out. So do not feel bad.
It's also just I'm feeling so slow coming up with things to talk about. About like a song, or maybe like a couple songs that you particularly enjoy from like say Sonic, or like other video games too. It doesn't doesn't just have to be, you know, Sonic all stream, you know.
Let's see. You said from any game or just music in general?
Just like I guess like games, like maybe start with Sonic, you know, and kind of just see where it leads you, you know.
Okay. I wouldn't say it's a toughie. It's just that there's a lot.
Yeah.
So I guess dependent on game. If it's Sonic games, that's too many to really name, but I'll try. I guess stuff like Empire City from Unleashed, or, you know, Break Through It All from Frontiers, or Back to Back from Rush, or All of Me from, well, actually, Digital Circuit or Lava Shelter from Shadow the Hedgehog, or maybe Mirage Saloon from Mania, or let's see. Let's go with Asteroid Coaster from Colors, specifically 2. Let's go with music from Metal Harbor, actually, from SA2. Such a jam. From SA1, let's mix it up a little bit. Let's actually do the music that happens when you're in Eggman's base. Not the ship, not the carrier, but the actual base that has all of the Metal Sonics in the tube. That plays pretty much throughout the last half of the level that you go to before you fight the main boss. Let's see. Or the music in the Chow Garden. That's always fun.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. Let's pick... I like the Crisis City remix from Generations. I really, really enjoyed End of World, Wave Ocean, and Aquatic
Base.
Yeah, Aquatic Base from Sonic 06.
Love me some Aquatic Base, man.
Yeah, Acropolis is not that far behind, but those top 3 would probably be the ones I like the most. Specifically for Wave Ocean, I like the inlet section, which is really, really nice. The guitar just goes ham in that section. Let's see. Lost World, I don't like the game. The only song I like from it is from the Honeycomb Highway. Let's see, what else? Let's do Sonic Rush Adventure, and let's pick Babylon. Sky Babylon's the best song in that game, next to when you're fighting Johnny. The swing version of that is insane and goes hard. Let's see. I have nothing from Superstars. I have nothing from Origins. Forces, actually, not a huge fan of the game, but Arsenal Pyramid is my favorite song from that game. And it's so sad that it's literally a 10-second section. It's such a good freaking jam that I currently use it as my raid music. From Sonic Heroes, let's do a tie, actually, because I really like Power Plant, and I really love music for Egg Fleet. It's just so good. And then let's do...
hold that thought. Can we take a break?
Yeah.
All right. I need to BRB. I apologize.
No, go ahead.
Alrighty.
He's so scrungly, chat. He's so scrungly. What am I gonna do about this scrungly boy? Actually, he should have more of a stumpy tail, don't you think? Right, on his back. It's too big. That's the problem. Very scrungly. Let's foof this out though. Fluffed it out a little bit. We'll go ahead and erase this portion. He's almost done, chat. He's very scrungly. We knew this though. We knew this going in. We were gonna make a slight scrunglow. There we go. I just want to fix up the tail a little bit. Thin out this line because it's too thick. There we go. We thinned out the lines just a little bit. We don't want it to be that thick. Alright, and that's towards the back, so we're going to see the curl, but it's not going to block anything. Now, are we going to put gloves on this guy? He's a civilian. And the civilians are going to have gloves, but I'm trying to think if we're going to. We're going to work on the feet in a second. We might. Okay, so let's figure something out with these. So we just did rough sketches of the hands here. I think probably really simple gloves, almost like sweatery, like these, like the sweater vest he's wearing. That would be interesting, actually. I wonder how we could possibly do that. So if we do that, there we go. So yeah, we're gonna buff that hand out to be a little larger. He may not need gloves at all. I feel like maybe his paws are enough. Just feels wrong to put gloves on him. It's not very Nobian-like, so what should we do? We're still gonna, like, lengthen out this. Yeah, I think we might, maybe instead we'll put like bands around here. That seems appropriate. Like, you know how you have like the ankle cuffs? What if he just has the wrist cuffs? Yeah, just the wrist cuffs. Yeah, like wristbands, wrist cuffs. What the heck is wrong with me? So fancy, unnecessary wording. There we go. Yeah, I think that actually might work. I like that idea. Boom. We have bands, and let's go ahead and put like little buttons. There is a gnat assassinating me right now. Here we go. We're also gonna have real fun later, because I'm gonna try and put X stitching on here. Just a little bit. We're trying not to go overboard, because then it'll just make the character look weird. There we go. Okay. Sweet. So, alright. And then now for the shoeses. Let's see. What can we do here? Do we want to do regular... Do we want to do like dock boots? Let me look these up. Hold on. These could be good. There we go. Oh, I see it now. Those could work. Doc Marten boots. Those could so work. They have really interesting designs, but I think I can get these to work. Let me see. Okay. Alright, let's make sure that we curvature this shoe right. So for one, it doesn't have a top. It's a very pointed, like, it's funny because it's a circular fold at the front, like toe area, but it's almost pointed. So we want to instead pivot the foot and tilt it that way. So I'm gonna make that line a little bit cleaner. This slide. And then these have a rim. Okay. And then we're gonna adjust these lines here to make space for the stitching. There we go. Alright. And then for the top, the way that it seems to be layered here is it goes boom. You just connect those two there. That's fine. Then we take the eraser because we want to make the lines, the laces, be the thing that has the most shape. And then stitching from up here that way. Okay. Okay. Simple boots. We could probably give the rubber on the bottom a little bit of texture because they have a couple of bites in it. So we could do one loop here, one loop here, one loop here, and a small one right here. And boop, and boop. This one's going to be a little different. So this one's going to start from here.
Dear God, I'm so sorry.
Hey, what's up?
Goodness. Was held up there. I see you've been coming along.
Yeah. We're fairly done with the wireframe and line art here.
Gotcha. I was gonna continue from where we left off on the music, but seeing as this wasn't like a full-on break, I was thinking while I was gone, like you said that Sonic like inspired you to write, you know, and that ended up becoming like one of my bigger passions as well, and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Surely, like, are you like one of those that would be more interested in like talking about like your favorite characters and what you like about them and how you see them and stuff, or are you more of like a, say, a outlining person, you know, making plots and whatnot, or like, say, world building, or what's your sort of area in terms of like writing?
I enjoy world building. I do a lot of writing for characters though. I tend to like writing anything. It could be poetry to short stories to game development documents to a character descriptor to a world building Bible. I think I've even written a bestiary before and an items catalog. Like, it doesn't really it could be anything that sounds interesting. I will probably like jump on, but yeah, no, genuinely, I just tend to write whatever just kind of pops into my mind. There isn't ever really a rhyme or reason. But yeah, I'd say like world building and characters, probably. Although, I do enjoy writing about psychological premises, but that's probably a more like in-depth thing that takes a little longer.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say that.
Have there been any, like, say, fan projects then that you've been a part of, particularly in the writing process?
Yeah, probably the cartoon I was in like 3 years ago. I co-wrote that. I want to say there's a video game here and there that I kind of helped with writing. And then other stuff is mostly just helping people with lore or writing descriptors for worlds that they're trying to come up with for games. So I'd say probably those. It's here or there. I'd say probably illustration is something that I more readily offer than writing. That one more so like takes a lot more time to set than an illustration might. So I don't write as much for people as I mostly do for myself than I would draw for people.
Gotcha. That makes sense. So I think you said it before, like world building's like your writing preference, right? That's like your favorite part of it?
Yeah.
Gotcha. So how much of it is like, say, outlining or like dialogue is an important one as well?
How much of the writing is dialogue for world?
Well, like how much in terms of like how much you like the process of doing it? Because I know like for some people, like, say, outlining doesn't come to them as easily, or like dialogue doesn't, like scripting
Gotcha.
and all that sort of thing. So like you did say that you liked all of it. So would you say in that respect that none of it's really something that is harder for you to do than other things, or I'm sure you get what I mean.
Yeah, I guess I don't really view much difficulty with any of it. I would probably say that probably character building is difficult for some people. It's very hard not to throw like a bunch of descriptors on a character. Like sometimes we have indulgent characters that we create that has every characteristic under the sun, but it can be very difficult to make very nuanced characters, as that takes a little bit to develop. Lots of trial and error and a lot of different scripts. I'd say writing characters is probably difficult because you want to make a character that is likable but isn't very like flatline Mary Sue type deal.
Right.
Which can be difficult, but I'd say probably like maybe character writing. I enjoy that the most. I enjoy like making worlds. I go so much as to like whenever I'm creating a world and writing about it, I'll create the different biomes, various locations, religion, currency, trading routes, pretty much how long their economy has been around, any history, even ancient mythology that's connected to the world. I even try and make lists of like possible natural disasters that may have happened, even crime rates in certain city areas, inclusion of like, pets, and stuff like that. If there's any trades with other neighboring like countries and other things like that. I include a lot of stuff to make the world feel very lived in, and more realized, and that does take time, but it is a lot of fun. So I'd say it's a tie between the two, really, but I could see it being very difficult because it is time consuming, and there are a lot of factors to it depending on how in depth you want to go.
Yeah, certainly. I think that's probably the thing I struggle with the most. Like conversely, like creating something of my own, right?
That's fair.
Like you give me Spider-Man and I could like outline a Spider-Man story or whatever, but like if you were to task me with making my own superhero, then I'd be like, oh, that one's gonna be a challenge.
Which is fair.
Yeah. So, gosh, I'm so sorry. I think of a question and then I think of like, what's the right way to word it?
That's okay. You're okay.
So, like any other, say, movies or TV or any other franchises that you're like really a fan of, and might have like a fair bit to say about, just in terms of like
old Cartoon Network cartoons, maybe.
Oh man, yeah.
Probably, I'd say a lot of that or really old anime.
The kind of stuff I would presume you grew up on?
Yes. My uncle had Anime Network when it used to be around. And so we used to see a bunch of really old stuff that was just kind of coming over to North America and wasn't like super available everywhere else. Like, this is not stuff you would see on Toonami or anything like that. It was really obscure anime.
Yeah.
And it was really fun because they also had like old VHSs they used to give us that had like old anime they used to get or record. And there's anime that I've like seen on these tapes that I've not seen ever again. I'm so convinced they don't actually exist. But they are, I don't know, they're super fun to think about because there was a time where I was just like, this is so cool. Like, look at like how extensive the art is and the action shots and all that stuff and the voice acting and everything. Even the old ones back then had a lot of really fun, very like high energy voice acting for a lot of stuff depending on like the anime, and it gets you so enthralled. Same thing with the cartoons back then. I felt like the cartoons had a lot more going for them. There was a lot more energy to them. I don't mind the in-depth cartoons we get now. In fact, it's very refreshing. But I really did like just the ones that were like just for fun type deal. But I feel like even they had their depth, even they had their adventures to be had in the background as much as the foreground. And I don't know, there's lots of characters from old cartoons. It's very hard to ignore how memorable they are and you know, the paths they set for, you know, future stories and cartoons and stuff like that. So
absolutely. In terms of like the anime story there with your uncle, I'm really reminded of something. Have you heard of like there was a PBS network like somewhere in California way back when? There was about like a 5 or so year period where they got really interested in showing anime, and like they were the first channel anywhere in the US to show like Evangelion, for instance. They showed it subbed.
Wow.
Yeah, like a lot of it was subbed.
What an anime to choose, though.
Yeah. But it was really interesting. Like I remember seeing a promo from when they were doing this, and like, you know, the guy was just out there, you know, saying like, hey, you know, we got these cartoons from Japan, and we think that like artistically speaking they're really worth showing, and you know, and all that, and like you know, they put such a fanciful sort of way of putting it, and whatnot, that like really makes you feel that they believed in it, which I think really helps as well, especially if they're willing to, you know, show it subbed, you know,
Oh
on
yeah, no,
TV,
definitely.
especially back then. It was just really interesting, and I wish I could remember what that station was called, or like their call sign or whatever, because I'd look up a clip for you. 'Cause it's just really interesting to see. Old Cartoon Network shows. That's definitely a subject I'm all for. Which one did you like most?
Gosh, there was shows like there was cartoons like Ed, Ed and Eddie, or Powerpuff Girls, or whatever happened to Robot Jones, or gosh, there's quite a few. Cow and Chicken was also wild. Hell, even really old Nicktoons back then was really wild too. Like Angry Beavers and stuff like that. It was wild. Ren and Stimpy show, of course. And then all the stuff that they like eventually put on Jetix. They moved so much stuff around. Oh heck, freaking! I remember for maybe it was on Magoozy. I'm pretty sure they had freaking Code Lyoko for a while.
Yeah.
There's like just a bunch of cartoons. You had Johnny Bravo. You had Samurai Jack. You had freaking stuff like Hamtaro, which was like super cute and was nonsensical as all hell, but was like still like pretty popular back then. And then you had some animes that like I couldn't tell if they were popular or not. Like Zatch Bell. I couldn't tell if people really liked Zatch Bell. I barely heard anybody talk about Zatch Bell, but it definitely existed. I know it existed. I watched it, you know. And like Bobobo, that's another one, which is really funny because the voice for Don Patch is the Shadow we have currently, and that's just hilarious. Yeah, no, it's there's so many cartoons from back then that just were so much fun. Dexter's Lab was another good one.
Oh, yeah.
A great, like, freaking awesome classic. Shoot. There's so many. They were all so good, though. We had such good cartoon blocks back then.
And it's something I mention every now and then when getting into this subject, but like, you know, it isn't just the rose-tinted glasses or anything. Like, I genuinely believe this, but we had no idea that we were that spoiled back, back then.
We didn't realize. We definitely didn't realize.
It's like just the sheer quality to non-quality cartoon ratio that was on TV with like new Western animations like back in the day. It was nuts. Most of it was just that good, and there hasn't really been like an era of that high quality before or since. You know. It was just a really creative time.
Very, very like wild frontier type deal, which I miss.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I think we've got most of the body done here.
Very nice.
Probably want to make. I'm gonna make the shoes just a tad bigger. About pretty much what they usually look like. They're huge.
Yeah. On the subject of you know, cartoons and stuff, more specifically anime back in the day, obviously there are you know, there are expectations nowadays, whereas to like certain dubbing practices in the past obviously would not fly. You
right.
know? And Obviously, it's a good thing to try and stay as true to the original script and whatnot. As you possibly can and stuff.
Right.
But there are certain things that like we're more than likely never going to see again that I think are definitely missed about the way that anime used to be produced, or at least like for like the English dubs and whatnot. Like I gotta tell you, I really miss original theme songs.
Oh my god, me too, honestly.
Yeah, like just card captors, for instance. You know,
Ooh,
they
what cool.
yeah they really changed what that show was supposed to be when bringing it over to the West. But like, damn if that theme song didn't slap.
True! Absolutely true. Nothing but facts on that.
And I think it's also just kind of a crying shame that like dubbing the current theme songs into English isn't really a thing anymore either. It's like I think you get it like sometimes, and that's for like the big ones, your Dragon Balls and whatnot. But like that used to be such a standard thing, and I also find it interesting because like a lot of the distributors from Japan for anime like want international dubs to like do their own language for the theme song and stuff. So I just find it weird that like it's just so lacking in English these days. I love that mouth. Just the way he looks. He's a good boy.
He's a good boy. He is a good boy.
Whoever wins him in the raffle, take good care of him.
It's a good boy.
Gets all the head pats. In that regard, though, on the on the last subject, do you have like a particular favorite theme song or say just anything about how like those old anime dubs were produced back in the day and that they don't necessarily do anymore?
Yeah. So I actually really like gosh, what was the anime called again? It was I like the opening to Azuma Gadayo. That one's super fun. I like the opening to Hamtaro. It's nonsensical and gets in your brain and it doesn't go away.
It like when Hamtaro was first on, I remembered like the theme song and like it left an impression, but like I completely forgot about it until a friend pulled up like the Christmas special like a couple of years ago, and I was listening to it and I was like, oh my god, is that auto-tune?
I'm just like, why?
Love it though. And say what you will about 4Kids, but like for the vast majority of the stuff that they did, they were banger theme song city.
Oh, they knew what they were doing.
Oh yeah.
We let them cook for a reason. We didn't stop them.
And in some cases, I would say actually preferential to the Japanese version. Like Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't remember what Yu-Gi-Oh's Japanese theme song sounds like, but the English one's perfect.
It is. It's perfect. It's catchy. They knew. They knew.
They really did.
Okay. All right. I think in terms of line art, we have our Bijan Frise civilian.
Very nice.
And now we gotta figure out his couleur. So more than likely we'll probably do a cream version. We'll do like a tannish egg off eggshell white for him, just to make it fairly simple for the flat color. And then all of the other popping features are going to be from the clothing, the eyes, and stuff like that. And probably a little bit of the tint to the ears, the muzzle, and to the tail, probably. So let's see what we can do here. Because this is the fun part. One, get rid of the wireframe. So that's what he looks like without the wireframe. He's just a little guy. He's just a little baby. He's just a little guy.
He just wants to make it to school on time.
We gotta give him a name or something. Your name is One. Adoptable One. He's just a little guy, a little child, little baby man. Baby man. He looks grayed by the years that he hasn't lived yet. Okay.
He's one of those that always thinks in what ifs.
Oh yes, that is exactly him. No questions asked on that one. No questions asked. Okay, so we're gonna start with this one. So we're gonna see if we can get a good majority of the color. Since it's flat color, I'll try not to shade. I sometimes can't help it. So I will try and stick very hard to flat color.
You know, if you see it appropriate to, you know, add some flair here and there, you know, it's not a bad thing.
I'll do my best.
When I saw that you were doing a sweater vest, my first thought was like beige in terms of the color, but like you're doing a lot of that in terms of like his fur and whatnot. What do you think of green?
Green?
Yeah.
Like the color?
Like of like the sweater vest specifically that he's got on.
Oh, you mean a very Isabel?
Yeah, you know what? That didn't even cross my mind. But yeah. He officially plays Animal Crossing and based his fashion sense off his favorite character.
Isabel is his favorite character. She's so brave, running an entire island by herself.
Wants to be like that one
like
day.
Isabel. I want to be a mayor someday. If Isabel can do it, I can do it. I'm a good boy. I'm a good boy.
I love this background. Whoever's adopting him, please do not change this. This is canon.
And his favorite Pokemon is, he likes Whoopers.
I'm down with that.
He likes Whoopers. He thinks Whoopers are super cute, adorable. They always bring a smile to everybody's face. They're so simple, and yet they survive such harsh conditions.
Yeah,
but you would never think so when you look at them. I want to be like that.
Exactly. I didn't really think much of Whooper until like seeing all those Pichu Brothers shorts, and I love the Whooper in that one. He just smiles through everything.
He does.
He just
smiles. He's so happy.
He gives zero shits.
I love it. There's not a thought in those eyes.
Exactly. He's
not
living
a
the best life.
single thought. Good for
the
him.
Best life.
Good for him.
Speaking of theme songs, man, they did one specifically for the Pichu Brothers, and that one definitely gets in my head. So silly.
Is airbrush here.
Really liking this way of coloring him.
They're gonna make it really dark here because of the muzzle. So it's gonna be light in the front.
Looking at him right now, I just get like the mental image of like those makeup brushes, you know?
Yeah, he's a powder puff. Alright, so we have that flat color, and then we wanna edit his mouth real quick. I was thinking the fluffy was gonna work, but
So, when you're drawing characters, or just drawing in general, some, just for example, say have problems, like with hands. Some have problems like drawing feet, or whatever. Like, what would you say is like the most difficult part of the process from your perspective?
I'd say hands sometimes are really difficult, depending. I sometimes have to literally look at my hand to draw it correctly.
Yeah.
That happens to me quite often.
I wonder what it is, because that's like such a common one.
It is.
I find people talking about. Not that not that I'm really an artist by trade. I'm terrible at it, but my thing was always feet. Can never make it look like even if it's just like a normal standing pose, can never make it look like they're actually like real feet, making contact with the ground. It's just always a thing for.
I understand, like, genuinely, I go through it most of the time with feet. I've learned different poses of feet that help me with blocking them out properly. And funnily enough, a lot of it has to do with mimicking digigrade, actually, for feet. But hands give me so much trouble because I accidentally will reflect hands the wrong way because my brain don't work. But genuinely speaking, I'd say hands give me like the most trouble. I have to like really stare at my hand to like figure out how to do it so it doesn't look weird in like sausages or something. Sometimes I have ways of like cheating around it so that it looks really good, but I don't have to go extensively into it and I can just block out the shapes. But it doesn't always work.
Yeah. I suppose there's just a lot more going on with hands too.
Yeah.
When it comes to your method, I take it you're using a tablet here, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you prefer doing digital or traditional, or do you not necessarily have a preference?
I do both, actually, and I prefer kind of mixing the two, funnily enough. A lot of the time when I do draw, especially if it's commissions, I actually draw traditional first, and then I transfer it over digitally. Sometimes, if I'm very confident in like what I'm drawing and I don't need to sketch it out, I just draw it directly digitally, kind of like how I did here. But if it was like, I don't know, let's say a piece that has like 2 characters and other stuff like that, if I'm super not sure how to space them or the pose I'm looking for or even the character itself, I will go traditional first to block everything out. I genuinely enjoy sketching in a sketchbook. It feels really nice and cozy to me. So when I draw digitally, which it did take a while for me to actually be comfortable to draw straight to tablet, because I used to be very against it back in the day. I just felt like I did not have the coordination for it. I was more against it due to the fact my skills were just not there. So I was just like, I don't think I should use that. I'd say it's a mixture of both, for sure. But traditional does feel very cozy. And it's easy to do because you can just open the book and start drawing, whereas tablet, you gotta turn on your computer, wait till it powers on, get on the program, and then draw, unless you have the tablets that you could draw straight to, which I wish I had that, because then I could actually draw a lot more, probably feel a lot comfier, but because there's so much setup, I'd probably say traditional.
Gotcha. It's a really interesting process to start with a digital sketch and then like do the lines in digital and whatnot. Really interesting that way. I apologize again, but I have been summoned, so I'm gonna need to BRB for just a little bit.
No problem.
My apologies. But thankfully this time I will be gone for nearly as long.
No problem.
Really digging the way that that you're coloring him in with like the different you know, shades and stuff. I think it adds to the depth of how fluffy he is, if that makes any sort of sense.
I appreciate it.
Also, one more time, chat, before this part ends, we are here as a part of Extra Life. Extra Life is a program of Children's Miracle Network hospitals. And here today, for Game Day, we are supporting the Corwell Health Children's Hospital of Royal Oak, Michigan. Your donations help with like research and development, medicine, activities, and you know, extracurricular stuff, so that the kids at these hospitals don't have to be bored out of their mind or scared. You know, it's all sorts of things to help the children in these hospitals receive the proper care that they deserve to be treated with, and everything of the sort, and so that the doctors and everyone on the staff of these hospitals have the proper resources to do so. Just some numbers here. CMN hospitals treat every hour 39 kids for diabetes, 39 kids in neonatal intensive care units, 92 kids for cancer, 97 kids for surgeries, and 675 kids with trauma. And obviously that adds up over time, and medical care is not cheap. So every dollar helps, and it goes toward you know, like sickness and disease, physical injuries, you know, mental health, anything that you can think of. You know, if it helps the kids, then that's where your money is going toward. So that's what we're here for. That's what we're looking to do here today by doing this. And if you can make a donation, if you want to make a donation, if you can afford it, then please do consider, because it's a very important cause. GK here is designing and now currently coloring in the Sonic OC that she's been working on throughout this part, and this OC can be yours. If you enter a raffle at $20 or above, then you'll have a chance to win this OC as an adoptable. So it's a pretty cool prize. The pattern's really subtle here too. I love that.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Now this style looks really good. Do you dabble in different ones as well?
Like different drawing styles?
Yeah.
So my drawing style is what I like to affectionately call inconsistent. My drawing style changes every time I draw. So what this looks like, if I were to draw tomorrow, it would look nothing like this. It would look completely different. If you looked at my portfolio, it's very hard to determine that it was drawn by the same person, but I do have proof. Various different artworks sort of look similar, but the styles are very different because I very much like to experiment a ton while I'm drawing. Yes. Yeah, so pretty much experiment and just try and find whatever looks fun. I will say there's tons of art styles that I wish I could do, like graffiti art styles. I'm practicing, but I wouldn't say I'm very competent at it, because it's very particular, because that itself is a very experimental style, and it's not just simplified into one thing. It's various stuff. So I'd say that. I'd say, like, my art style is varied.
That's pretty cool, though. So while you're coloring here, just another teeny little thought of mine, but what's your favorite color? And if I had to take a guess, is it purple?
It is purple. You win.
lots of purple in your aesthetic, but you know, I think you make it look good.
I appreciate it.
Purple's kind of like a hard color, I think, to get that and make it look right. If that makes any sense.
That's fair. I think it's because people sometimes use an overabundance, so it's hard to gauge whether or not it's a good choice for, like, character color, because when there's so much of it, it looks oversaturated. It could be a very muddy coloring or, like, way too vibrant. There's a subtlety to it.
Yeah, like you gotta use the right purple, which I think kind of makes it hard to go with other colors, because then you know, oftentimes finding the right purple means finding the right shade of whatever other color there is to go along with it.
Yeah.
I think this here's pretty interesting, going like half and half here on the pants.
I'm trying to get that almost denim effect, but very faded.
Like in terms of colors, so interesting for me as like a mildly colorblind person, but like color coding of things is like a really interesting concept to me. Is that something that you feel a similar way about?
Color coding?
Yeah.
As in trying to match a color to something, or assign a color to something?
In the way of, I guess the way I think about it is like, I'll just use like the one-up balloons from like Donkey Kong Country as an example, right? Mm-hmm. They're all designed exactly the same way, but red is 1, green is 2, blue is 3. Like, right. And like it's just the most simple thing, but for whatever reason it like
doesn't click.
It does something in my brain, and I'm like, I really like that, you know?
That's fair. I think I kind of like, I like colors being assigned to certain concepts. I think is really cool. Like, I mean, we assign colors to emotions a lot of the time. Yeah, I mean, it's where mood rings and other stuff come from. So I think it's pretty neat that numbers and colors can represent different abstract concepts in a way that we understand. Like, some people may not understand how we're feeling, but if we were shown the color blue, we're like, yeah, that. I'm feeling that, and that conveys sadness or irritation or something, or red is angry or passionate. We just kind of mentally assign meanings to these things. So yeah, no, I that's something that I find a lot of interest in too. I think it's really cool, because it also works with like sound and smell and stuff like that.
Yeah. Color in advertising is also another like sort of example of that. where like the way that you use certain colors can make people think like certain ways in stuff that they would never consciously think about in the moment or whatever. Like red and yellow grab attention, for instance, and that's why they use it in a lot of like food products. And stuff. Blue is a very trusting sort of color. So like Facebook, for instance, you know, their stuff's all blue. You know. I find that sort of thing really interesting too.
I think it's really cool because it definitely shows kind of how our brains are wired, either personally or just socially.
Yeah. Here's one I just remembered. What do you think this guy's favorite subject in school is?
I'd say it's a mixture of either economics or Earth history.
Oh man, I was thinking math, but I had a very
economics
fun
is around the same thing. Maybe not Earth history, Earth science. Earth science. Like he'd have a fascination for something that like feels stable. And math is stable.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah, math is stable in its equations, but it fluctuates. And can be just as unruly from any variable being put into it, which could be anxiety-inducing to somebody who's not prepared for things. Which is why when people are anxious, especially those that have like OCD or ADHD or anything like that, a lot of the time it's referred to as an unknown variable. So having something like that pop up is strenuous. So I think stability for them would be something that would be something that handles the fluctuation, economics, or something that feels sturdy in concept and evaluation, which would be the Earth. It fluctuates in its temperature, its seasons and stuff, but the fact that those things happen is always a constant, therefore stable.
You know, that was so actually like really well thought out and beautiful.
And I appreciate that.
And then like here I was like I'm such an idiot. I was just like, I think he likes math because he's wearing a sweater vest.
I mean, hey, that could work, right? He also likes reading. Reading is fun. Reading is quiet. Reading is nice.
Yeah.
But I feel like he would read a lot of like do-it-yourself or self-help type deals.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. He's such a good boy.
Yeah.
He is such a good boy. Love this character already. Alright. Let's see. We gotta do the tail. As importante.
Back on the subject of like say Sonic in terms of like the games and whatnot. Since it looks like we're kind of nearing the end here, is there like a favorite level of yours that you just can't get enough of playing?
That is a good question.
It would be like one of those depends on the game sort of deals.
It does depend on the game. But I guess like right off the bat, I enjoyed 2-1 from Frontiers. I enjoyed Sweets Mountain from Colors. I returned to that level a lot. I enjoy the Chow Garden. It's one that who doesn't return to that one? I think that's a consistent one.
People who are jerks don't return to that one.
The
And
ones that
sometimes
don't
people who
understand the love that is Chow. How dare.
And sometimes the people who are jerks do return to the Chow Garden for reasons that
For reasons.
we'll not talk about here.
Yep.
Vinny.
Damn. Here we go.
I kind of like to hear, like, especially because you were able to come up with, like, what his favorite school subject or our character here, you know, just off the top of your head, and have it, like, really well explained and stuff. If I remember correctly, your favorite of the like mainline, like, Sonic cast is Shadow, correct?
Yeah.
And like, is there any, like, particular special reason?
Shadow's, well, one, he's really cool. Let's just get that out of the way. But two, he's a very emotionally in-depth character. There's a lot going on with him that's fun to explore, psychologically. I think there's a lot of nuance to his character that is kind of finally getting, like, brought to light. It's not like it hasn't before, because a lot of the stuff that, you know, the game does now is pretty much stuff that was done in SA2 and Shadow the Hedgehog. So I feel like they just kind of grabbed all those things and kind of made it maybe a little bit more clearer in this, with some more flair to it. But I don't know, he's got, like, such an interesting history. How that's portrayed and how it affects his mental state and the way that he, you know, carries himself, the decisions that he makes. Like, there's so much really interesting stuff to his character. Like, for one, everybody, you know, complains about the fact that, you know, Shadow's so very distant from people. For one, his character has gone through so much trauma. And yeah, he's let go of some of it, but do you understand that the one person, well, the people that were the closest to him were taken in, like, the worst way possible, so tragically, he could not do anything, and it is pretty much possible it was caused because of him, his very existence. He was set up to fail from the very beginning. He was set up to fight, you know, a war he was never aware of until, like, much later on. You know, thanks to Shadow the Hedgehog. And it's like, you know, how would you deal with finding out all these different things after searching for answers for so long? You would not expect this answer. If somebody genuinely told you, yeah, you're made from that things, you know, and you're just like, what? Like, are you sure? Yeah, unfortunately. And, you know, why would you risk getting close to other people when that possibility is well, it's always possible that you could just lose someone else. Even worse, it's better if you don't connect with other people, because then you would never have to go through that issue of loss again. Because heck, if you lose somebody, you are the one that has to stay with that pain for so much longer. For God's sakes, you're immortal. You stick around so much longer and have to deal, you know, hold on to the consequences of whatever happens much longer than anybody else, especially if they were taken out by said consequence. But you watch everyone pass you by, even people that you do connect with and nothing happens to them and they go away naturally. You still have to go through loss every single time because you will always outlive them. It is so difficult to go from being in such an isolated situation where you only had very few people around you that were the closest thing to family, pretty much family, and gave you all of the kindness and care in the world that you cannot receive now, in no way, shape, or form. And it's not that you don't let it happen, and it's not that, you know, oh, nobody cares. No, it's that nobody can care as much as your family did, as everybody on the arc did. Nobody can give you that, you know, that same level of care that he needs. Nobody's on that same understanding. They can try. They could be sympathetic, empathetic even, and, you know, discuss with him all day long and go through, you know, sort through the entire box of problems that he's got, that he's willing to discuss, that is. But at the end of the day, nobody but the people that were there are really gonna understand that. Because how can you? They didn't go through that type of loss. They didn't have that type of life. You know, he wasn't even born on this planet. So he had to learn everything from scratch. And when he woke up, it was nothing but hatred for this planet. In a misunderstood and miscommunication issue, he could have possibly ended up being the very thing that took his family away in the first place if he didn't find out that that wasn't the truth. So the character itself is so many different mental dialogue options in one hub. It made sense when they were like, yeah, there's so many paths for his story and stuff. There is, because there are so many different paths you can take when you're healing from something like this. You can let it be who you are. You can let it consume you. You can ignore it. You can move on and try to better yourself. You can work with it and grow with that pain and try to understand it. You can completely deny that it happened and forget it altogether. You could blame other people. You could blame yourself. You can never take responsibility, take all the responsibility. There's so many different, pathways. So it makes a lot of sense that they try to go for that type of deal. And it's very, it's very possible they didn't think as in depth for that. And they really just wanted to try and tell different stories. But in a way, we were going through different ways that Shadow could have solved this issue that he was carrying. And it wasn't even about being a villain or a hero or anything, because the only one that he was attacking was himself mentally. Was this all my fault? Was this real? Am I, an actual monster? Or, is it all just being thrown on me? Is, all of this a lie? Have I been carrying a burden for no reason? Or am I letting it consume me? He's such an interesting character. I like it. I like him. There's a lot of things to explore with him. I don't think you could take a wrong turn with him and not get something interesting in return. Even if it's not a canon thing, I think it's fun to theorize. So yeah, that would probably be why I like him as a character, and I appreciate where they're trying to go with him now.
Yeah, it was really well said, and no argument here. I think I think a lot of what you were saying just kind of also adds impact and kind of makes it beautiful when he does let himself open up a little more to certain other people. Rouge is the big obvious example.
Oh yeah, so scary. Can only imagine how terrified he is constantly when he has somebody get close, makes a friend. It's just add another one to the roster. Not even they're gonna go. It's not even if, it's when. Yeah, he's just got a completely and totally different perspective on that than the average person would. He has something that the rest of the characters don't. He has the inevitability that he will always be alone in the end. Even if he doesn't want to admit that, and even if he does know that but doesn't want to tell other people or really think on it, but in the end he's always gonna kind of be alone in his thoughts and just, in life, because everybody eventually moves on where he can't. He wasn't even given the opportunity to be able to pass on like everyone else. So, and who knows whether he would have been okay given the choice or not. But he's immortal, and there's nothing that can change that we know of, and that's just something he has to deal with. It's a curse as much as it is a blessing, and he didn't even choose to have it. He just is. So, almost done here. Now we just have to color the boots, work on the face, the gloves, and then we're done, I think. Gotcha. Alright, let's see here. These are gonna be fun. because these are based off of actual boots. So there's a
Oh, like
specific-
the super high top sort of Converse deals.
These are actually based off of Doc Martens.
Oh.
I figured it would be very close to almost school issued type deal, since this is a civilian character. These match almost school issued like footwear. It's inoffensive, but it's still stylistic at the same time.
And it also looks pretty casual.
Yes.
Like, there are a lot of people who have, you know, footwear exactly like this. There's a pretty neat tool you're using to get more precise when coloring the shoes.
Oh, the little target thing. Yeah, the wand. Lets me grab stuff, which is very useful.
At first I was I saw you filling things in and I was like, oh, okay, the shoes are gonna be blue, and then nope. But it was really interesting and probably very helpful, like to get into those really small areas.
Yeah, no, sometimes it's when I have a very sketchy drawing style sometimes, primarily. So a lot of the time you'll see like lines like these. Which means that it's when you select everything, those gaps are gonna happen. So thankfully with that magic wand it helps.
For sure. I did take that big old break when we were talking about music, and once again, I apologize.
You're okay.
While we've been recording this chat, I've been having a listen to like a chill Sonic music playlist, and right now "Fly in the Freedom" is going on, which I think is just a really beautiful, like, sort of song. You can picture a scenario, like just a really relaxing scenario when you're listening to it, and I think that it just fits right in. What I'd like to ask GK here is, especially since we weren't able to really, finish that thought on the music, vocal themes specifically. What's your flavor in terms of Sonic?
The vocal themes? There's a few that I like. I don't know. It Doesn't Matter is really good. Supporting Me. Pretty much all the vocal tracks of Frontiers. I used to like some of Amy Rose's things, but I actually really like Team Chaotix's theme.
Oh yeah.
Biggs is also really good. And of course, Knuckles' levels from SA2, since they're all lyrical.
Yeah.
Especially Unknown from Me. Probably those handful, I'd say. And most of the opening themes for the games, Endless Possibilities is always a good one too.
Oh yeah.
That one probably my favorite.
Whether it's Sonic specific or just music in general, would you say that genre is like kind of secondary. Like as long as something sounds good enough to your brain, you can vibe with anything.
Yeah, I have a pretty open palette for music.
Yeah. Samesies. Looks like we're in the home stretch here.
Mm-hmm.
You have an eye color in mind?
Not sure yet. But...
Could I offer a suggestion?
Sure.
Thinking of like characters with other sort of characteristics and like the way you've been coloring them so far.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think yellow would be any good?
We could definitely try yellow. Never know till we give it a shot. That's the fun part about eye colors.
Yeah, that's true. That's actually really true. Just thinking about it now, because I remember a friend showed me an OC that they made, and like the eye color was like orange, and I'd never thought about orange as an eye color before. I saw it and I was like, you know, this looks really good.
Used to be my eye color, actually. Now it's an orangey red, but it used to be like an orange yellow. It looked like an egg.
That's cool though, but like how original you can get with that sort of thing, because you know, eye colors in real life, at least you know, for humans anyway, which obviously like a lot of this design is based off of, like we don't have terribly varied eye colors, but like
that's fair.
But like with, you know, something like this, you just play around to your heart's content, you know.
Also fair. Ooh, sorry.
That was such a little sneeze.
How dare you? You said you wanted yellow?
You know, if you want to give it a go. It's kind of amazing, like when you added the irises in, like he instantaneously looked so much friendlier.
It's crazy how that works, huh?
Yeah. That's so cool though. And kind of happier too, now that I'm really thinking about it. Cause like, without them, he looked a little worried, which, like, you know, fit within the personality and whatnot, but, now he looks a little happier too.
Right, that's with the yellow eyes.
That looks really good, I think.
Okay.
Like, I don't know if you agree, but like, I think like the yellow looks good with the green. Methinks, and he's wearing blue jeans and, you know, yellow green or yellow blue green blah. He's got like some gold accessories there on his gloves and whatnot.
Yeah, I think it works.
Yeah. So it looks like he's finished.
Yeah, he is fairly finished. Might add something, but he's genuinely finished.
It was really cool to see this like come together and everything. You put a lot of love and care into like the detailing here too.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I wasn't sure how he was going to really look. I just kind of had the general shape in mind and just kind of let it happen, which helps, especially if I have no idea what I'm doing.
No, but the the shading's like really well done, and I think you got the pose like perfect to like you know what the wheel dictated for, you know, like the personality and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like we've been saying about him this whole time, like, you know, he's a good boy.
He's a good boy. He's a very good boy.
Definitely not one to get into the action, but you know, he's a fan of Sonic and his exploits and all that. Loves his economics.
He does like his economics.
Love him.
One more thing, and we're done here. His head just looks a little too plain. So, an idea.
Gotcha. On the ear's an interesting idea.
Nah. It was worth a shot, though.
Yeah. You never know if you don't try.
True. I think he's done, though.
Alrighty. Well, I think he came out very wonderfully.
Yeah, he's a fluffy boy.
He's a fluffy boy and a good boy, and
Yes.
whoever ends up taking him in this raffle, take good care of him. Damn it, he deserves it.
He just wants friends.
Yeah, exactly. Look at him. He just needs a friend. GK, thank you very much for you know, doing this for us here.
Yeah, absolutely, no problem. This was fun.
Absolutely, and just phenomenal work. I think he came out really great.
I appreciate it.
And no problem whatsoever. For you, the audience, if you would like to have this character as your own, a donation of $20 or more will put you into a raffle to win him here. And you know, if your name is drawn, then you can call this lovely good boy your own and give him a name and all that good stuff. So that'll be it for this portion of Extra Life Game Day. Coming up next is TTP. Tales of Power 71 is going to be playing GoldenEye 007 for the N64 in a 3-hour challenge. We're going to see how far he can get in the game within the space of 3 hours. So that should be pretty interesting and cool. And for you slacker future me, you better have the link for the next part ready by the time that this is going down.
Nice.
So, chat, follow the link. It'll be in the Premiere chat and everything, and that is where you can find Part 4, where TTP will be playing GoldenEye 007. Glitch, you know, thank you once again for participating and you know, just you know, doing this through the weird like scheduling and all that we had and whatnot. It was a real honor and a pleasure to have you here, and hopefully like my questioning and everything wasn't too awkward or whatever.
No, not at all. It was fun. It was fun.
Just genuinely lovely to see the whole process. I love watching like when my artist friends do this sort of thing. It's such an interesting thing to view. But yeah, that'll do it for part 3 here, folks. Future me, you bastard, you better have that link in the chat. So yeah, that's it for this one. Link is in the chat for part 4. TTP takes on GoldenEye 007 for the N64. We'll see you there. Follow the link there, and all that. So, bye-bye, everybody, for now.
Bye-bye.
See you in part 4.